So as you guys are already aware, Star Wars Outlaws is one of the biggest failures to come out from Ubisoft in recent time, only to be outshined by Skull and Bones, and they probably would have been outshined by Assassin's Creed Shadows as well, but unfortunately they had to delay that game because, let's admit, they can't take multiple L's in the same year. It's getting ridiculous at this point for their investors, and they can only come up with so many lies on the investors call every single time they got to make that phone call, be like, hey man, I know we said we were going to do well because of pre-orders, but we kind of messed up again. You know, they can only do that so many times. Well, apparently, Star Wars Outlaws is about to come out on Steam, okay? It's about to come out on Steam, and I don't think this game is going to do very well considering where it currently stands right now in the list of most wishlisted, where it's barely in the top 250 on Steam's upcoming wish list.
You lose! Good day, sir!
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, Star Wars Outlaws is a terrible game for a multitude of reasons, okay? It's not just DEI wokeness or anything like that. I try to make that very clear whenever I talk about these video games because I genuinely do try to be objective. As much as people hate certain games, and especially certain developers and companies, I understand that totally, but I try to look at different games from an objective point of view, regardless of what's actually in it. I like to look at the whole picture. And then when you put the whole picture together, guess what happens with Star Wars Outlaws? It's still crap. So let's get into this article, guys, from Fandom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, again, when it comes to Star Wars Outlaws and the Adventures of Kay Vess, I think it's pretty obvious that this game suffers from a multitude of problems. I know it just recently had a patch, if I'm not mistaken, and the patch changed so many things in the game. It's almost as if, what did you even release this game for? This game clearly wasn't in the operating state that it was supposed to be in upon release, because you just released this patch, which is like your 5th patch now. And this one changes the game and adds so many features that seems like should have been in the game in the first place. But again, this is Ubisoft we're talking about. Day one for them means that the game is barely viable, and they're going to put it out there and hope that they get some money back while they try to fix the game over the next year or so. It's stupid. Upcoming Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws is just barely inside the top 250 of the most wishlisted upcoming Steam's games. Star Wars Outlaws currently sits in position 249th on the upcoming Steam games list for wishlisted, and the game only has 6,789 followers just one day before it goes on sale on Steam. The positioning likely means that the game will have a soft launch on Steam, much like it did when it released outside of Steam back at the end of August. If you recall, Ubisoft admitted that the game underperformed sales expectations in the first half of 2024 and 25 earnings figures report. Well, again, any time that they say underperformed sales expectations, I want you guys to understand what that genuinely means. And I know most of you do, because let's be honest, it's not hard to figure out. Underperformed sales expectations means that the game absolutely bombed. It bombed completely. The bullshit that they were selling their investors didn't pan out. The false stories that they were selling their investors didn't pan out. All of it didn't pan out, and it completely and utterly flopped, especially since the budget for this game is astronomical. It's ridiculous. You know that to be true, because not only is it a Ubisoft open world game, which costs a lot of money, but it's also a Star Wars IP game, which costs a lot of money. You're not going to be able to make a Star Wars game for cheap, so that unfortunately cost them quite a bit of money. Furthermore, it appears to contradict comments made by Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot when he was questioned by an investor from BMO. Wow, I messed that up. During the company's most recent earnings call, conference call, he was asked on Star Wars Outlaws, obviously off to a slower start than you guys wanted. Can you provide a little color into the sales curve there more recently? Have you guys started to see things pick up? Can you talk about any discounting you might be doing or strategies for discounting into the holiday period that would be helpful? Now, one thing I will say is that you guys seriously need to stop this whole exclusivity on PC. It's fucking garbage, right? Like, PC gamers hate that shit. PC gamers are going to be 99, 98% on Steam. You are absolutely retarded in every way imaginable if you decide to make this game exclusive to either Epic Games or Origin, or in this case, Ubisoft Store. It is dumb, okay? I understand you're trying to push your own subscription, but you are sacrificing your product, guaranteed, if you try to put it on anything else other than Steam. You're insane. insane. And this is why whenever they do this, I laugh, because even if the game is good, I guarantee it's going to be a financial flop until they put it on Steam. It doesn't matter if the game is good. Most people are just not like that. PC gamers are diehard Steam users. They've been that way for fucking decades. I've been on Steam for over 20 years now, or almost over 20 years now. I know I'm at 20 years, but I'm about to be 21 years. I don't understand why people think that putting this game on anything other than Steam is going to make them profitable. It's not. You guys are insane. So you need to start putting your games on Steam and stop, restricting yourselves to your own stores that nobody uses. Then anyway, he was asked on Outlaws, what we can say is that the 3 title updates that we've delivered at the same time, we've been observing substantial positive community sentiment improvement. No, they haven't. No, they haven't at all. This is the bullshit. You see what I'm saying? They try to spin stuff to try to make it seem like things are better than they actually are. If you genuinely believe that the community sentiment around Star Wars Outlaws is positive, you are either misinformed or you're lying. It's one of the two. And it's happening. Both of them is happening right now, right? The investor is being misinformed, and the person who's speaking this, right, Yves Guillemot, he's lying. There's no way that this game has positive community sentiment. To even say that it's on the rise is ridiculous. Whoever's going to play this game has already played this game. Most people who aren't going to play this game aren't going to play this game. They're checked out. Nobody's going to check this game out more than, they already have. Very few people are going to buy this game on Steam. I got to imagine it's probably going to have maybe a couple of thousand at best. Then it says the biggest update is still to come by November 21st, which, again, this is the one that's coming soon that I was talking about. And it will come on the same day as the first big story pack and the launch for Steam. So we are putting ourselves in a position to have a must-play game that should address a mainstream audience for the busy season. Also to be a long-term seller. Wow, this is actually interesting. So this is funny. So, number one, mainstream audiences. When did we start being called the mainstream audience? What happened to the modern audience? Did you guys give up on the modern audience, or did they give up on you first? That's amazing. I haven't seen anybody say the mainstream audience in a long time. That's actually pretty fucking hilarious. Number one. Number two, they have all this stuff that they're getting ready for the Steam release. A story pack, updates, patches, and they're launching on Steam. So again, I don't see how this is going to be something that's going to help them in the long term. Sure, it might give them a few boost in sales, maybe 10, 20,000 sales overall, maybe even 30,000 if you really want to push it. But I just don't see how this is going to make you back your $250+ million budget. I just don't see it. He continued to have great quality, and the team wanted to make sure that we will remove a few frictions and then implement some gameplay mechanics that will certainly delight the players. Guillemot did go on to indicate that there will be a promotion for the game through the Christmas season. Yes, we'll be planning some promotional support throughout the busy season. Now, this is why I said that games like Dragon Age: The Veilguard will get a good amount of sales during the holiday season, because let's be real, you put the game on sale, you promote it like crazy, it's the holiday season, people buying up games for their kids and whatnot, chances are you're going to pick up some sales. I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point. So what they're doing is not necessarily a bad strategy. I just think they're overestimating what's actually going to happen from said strategy, right? They're trying to oversell it because they don't want the investors to panic. They don't want the investor to say, gee, something's actually genuinely wrong here. Let me pull out while I still can. They're trying to hold on to those investors as long as they possibly can. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.